special webinar set up by House of Tech, set up by House of Tech community. You're welcome. And we'll be taking on a very important conversation this evening. A very important conversation around a subject that concerns each and every one of us, whatever field you are in, whatever you're into as a profession. This subject concerns each and every one of us. And House of Tech has put together a list of experts, professionals in this space, people who are vastly experienced in this subject. So it's going to be an amazing conversation. So you're welcome, and I want us to be ready. I want us to be ready to learn, to ask questions, and make it an interesting conversation. All right. So the conversation we're looking at this evening is AI influence and income. AI influence and income, leveraging artificial intelligence for growth, for visibility, and opportunity. So because artificial intelligence is changing a lot of things, is impacting on a lot of things in our world today. And you may have questions around how exactly does artificial intelligence impact on what I do? How does artificial intelligence improve my life? How does artificial intelligence help me to improve my career? How does it help me to do my business better? Or how does it help me to increase my income? How does it help me to expand my revenue streams? All right. And many other questions and areas of concerns like that. Automation, AI architecture, brand strategy, innovation. How is AI changing or disrupting all of these areas of our lives? And like I said, we have a list of experts and people who are well experienced and informed in this aspect who will be taking us on this journey. But before we get to hear from the first speaker, I want us to quickly welcome our sponsor for this webinar, Cyberport. Cyberport, you may just leave like a clap emoji on the chat box just to celebrate them. Cyberport is the sponsor for this webinar hosted by House of Tech Community. And I want to give a representative of Cyberport about 5 minutes to tell us about Cyberport, what Cyberport does, and how those of us who are members of the House of Tech community and those who are joining us for the first time on this webinar may benefit from what Cyberport is doing. So I would like to call on Emmanuel to please tell us a bit more about Cyberport and how we can benefit from it. So Emmanuel, if you're here, I would like to hand over to you at this point. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Paul, and good evening to everyone on this call. I want to say a very big thank you again to House of Tech for the opportunity to be part of something like this, right? To a large extent, our interests very much aligned in ensuring that Africa solves the problem for Africans, rather solve the problem for Africa, right? Also, I want to say a very big thank you to the speakers who would be, giving us insights on AI and automation and things in that direction, right? But again, let me introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel, and I run operations at Cyberport. We've been in operations for about 2 years now, and we've impacted quite a number of Africans. We've provided jobs for over 25 Africans. And we also impacted hundreds of Africans and provided them access to earning. But the thing is that conversations like this are important because we are at the point where technology is no longer something far away from us. In fact, AI is no longer a future conversation anymore. It is already here. It's already changing how people work, how people build, how people learn, become very creative, right? And Seraport is, we're very proud to support this conversation because the theme really speaks directly to something that we care deeply about. We care about growth, we care about visibility, and we care about opportunity. And for me, the biggest mistake that people make when talking about AI is that they treat AI itself as the opportunity. But the interesting fact is AI is not the opportunity. AI is just the amplifier. So it amplifies your thinking, it amplifies your skill, it amplifies your speed, it amplifies your creativity, it amplifies your ability to even build, communicate, and execute. Right. So at the same time, it also amplifies emptiness. Right? I mean, I'm sure you hear people saying that, oh, AI is taking our jobs. I can tell you practically those people are going to lose their jobs anyway. Um, so if someone has no clear thinking, AI will produce more confusion faster. If someone has no discipline, AI will produce will help them even start many things and finish nothing. If someone has no skill, AI will help them look competent for a short period of time, but the results eventually expose them. So the real question is not, do you know how to use AI? The real question is, what value are you using AI to create? And this is where conversations becomes very serious. And honestly, before now, um, if someone had an idea, they needed many people, right? They needed many tools, they needed sometimes they needed a lot of money before they could execute. But today, just one serious person with a laptop with internet access, with clear thinking and AI tools can do what's required a small team, right? I mean, an example is a designer can use AI to speed up their research and concept development. And shout out to Tunde on the call. He's one of the very people that I know that use AI to do a lot of things, right? And in fact, a writer can use AI to structure better, but there is one missing piece, right? Which makes Cyberport makes a lot of sense, right? The missing piece is not just access to tools, it is access to opportunities. In Africa, we have talent. This is not the problem, right? We have people who are brilliant, who are hungry, who are creative, but the talent economy has three major gaps, right? The first gap is the skill gap. A lot of people are interested in tech, in media, in design, in marketing, in automation, and AI, but interest is not the same as competence, right? Watching tutorials is not the same as being job ready, right? And knowing tools is not the same as solving real problems. And the second gap that we have seen is a trust gap. So clients and companies, they do not just pay because someone says, oh, I can do it. That's not why people are willing to pay, right? They pay when they believe you can deliver. They pay when there is proof. They pay when they can trust your process, your quality, your communication, and your consistency. And the third gap that we have seen is the opportunity gap. So many serious talents are not in the rooms where decisions are made, right? And they are not even seen by the right client. So you can be very good, but you might not be seen by the right client, right? In fact, they don't even have the network, they don't have the portfolio, they don't have the confidence, they don't have that positioning to convert their skill into income. And that's the gap that Cyberport is focused on. At Cyberport, we're not just interested in training people, right? Training is only one part of our work. Our deeper goal is to produce and to build a pipeline where African talents can be trained, tested, verified, refined, and connected to real opportunities. And if you go to our Cyberport work platform, you will see that that's exactly what it does. So it means we are going beyond certificates. In fact, when we train you at Cyberport, because we currently have for video editing and for marketing, right? Don't give certificate. But the middle looking at is at the end of your course, can we give you a job and you can execute well at it? If you can, that's our major KPI, right? And so we are asking, can this person actually do the work? Can they meet deadlines? Can they take feedback? Can they communicate professionally? Can they use AI to even improve output and not fake output? And a business trust them with real work, right? Because the future does not belong to people who merely know how to use AI tools, honestly. The future belongs to people who can use AI to create outcomes. And that's where influence comes in, right? So all we're saying is visibility without value is noise. right? You need a skill, but you need a skill because without skill, there is nothing to sell. You need proof because people need evidence. So, but to round up everything, one thing we can say is this: do not be a casual AI user. Do not use AI to write captions or generate random ideas and look smart online. Use AI to think better, use AI to research better, use AI to build systems, improve your work, document your process, create proof, and use AI to position yourself before the right opportunities. Because we as a company will train you with the right skills, will drill you down to ensure that you can deliver on when the jobs come, right? And we can place you directly in front of employers. And for employers that might be on the call, we have a system whereby you can be assured that you have the right people that you're working with and they are extremely good at their job. Emphasis on extremely good at their job, right? So I want to say a very big thank you to House of Tech for creating this platform. Cyberport is glad to support this, and we're excited about the kind of talent builders and thinkers that can emerge from communities like this, right? So again, just to leave it, if you know that you have the right skill, be it graphics design, be it digital marketing, be it video editing, right? We have a place for you, honestly. We need people like you. And in fact, if you're also very good at AI as well, we need more of you, right? I think the problem will not even you'll be too tired of taking jobs, right? So I think that's what's going to look like. But at the same time, if you're on this call and you do not have a skill, right, go on our platform, cyberport.com, and you're going to find courses that you can take. Although these courses are paid. But I wouldn't even call it courses. I'll call it programs where would ensure that you're not just understanding the job or understanding the skill, but you are able to use it to impact and give real value to clients. And clients on this call, if you need very good talent, you can come, to Cyberport and get them. And for anyone who doesn't even have a skill yet, there's a way you can still earn at Cyberport, which is we pay you to engage, to watch videos and give feedback. We pay you to do surveys. We pay you to do a lot of things. Like we have different tags available on our platform. So anyone, there's no age restriction. Go on Cyberport, create an account, and move started. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Timmy Talkway, of course. Thank you so much, House of Tech, and thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, and thank you very much, Cyberport, for sponsoring this webinar. Thank you. So I'll just ride on something that you said, so that we just go into the conversation from that point. You said, don't just use artificial intelligence, don't just use AI for petty things, if I might put it in that term. Do not use AI for just petty things like captions, rewrite a text, or draft emails and all of that. You need to move from AI experimentation to AI implementation. You need to move from sitting on the fence, from just being excited about artificial intelligence, from just being curious about artificial intelligence, to actual implementation, to using AI to build systems, to using AI to develop things that can solve actual problems and potentially bring revenues for you or income for you as an individual. And so, on that note, I'm going to introduce our first speaker for tonight, who will be talking around these points, these areas, how you go from AI experimentation to AI implementation. So I would like to introduce our first speaker, who goes by the name Olumi Baso. She's one of our international speakers for tonight. She is an AI business consultant, AI systems architect, and a brand and growth strategist. Polumi is an AI system specialist and a business transformation strategist with over 17 years of global experience spanning AI systems, branding, automation, marketing strategy, and operational growth. She has worked across international markets, including the Netherlands, Singapore, Dubai, India, and France. And she has contributed to the growth of strategic positioning of global brands such as Johnson and Johnson, L'Oreal, Sephora, Vodafone, Oreo, Nivea, and Unilever. So let's make welcome Pulumi. She will be talking to us from casual AI usage to scalable AI systems for growth and efficiency. Once again, let's make welcome Pulusi. You're welcome, Pulusi. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited to be here and share something that I am extremely passionate about. So I'm going to share my screen and keep talking as we look at the screen. It's not traditional slides as you know it, but you will get the hang of it. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen. Just give it a thumbs up or something. Okay, great. All right. So now most of the people in the room are using AI, right? I mean, please put it in the chat. If you're not using AI, I would love to know. But most of us are using AI in some form of the other. But here's what happens, right? We are thinking of writing a detailed prompt and using it on a chatbot. And then you go a bit back and forth with it. Where we need to move to, where businesses are moving to, is where you just command your AI tool or you command your system, telling it what you want, and it does it effectively. Why can it do it effectively is because it is trained and customized to your business. It is not a tool anymore, it is infrastructure. And that is what I'm going to be talking about how do you move from AI being a tool to AI being infrastructure. And this is what I say a lot. I love this analogy about using AI like a microwave, right? Now, how do we use a microwave? We use it for quick fixes. We go something in, it does something, we get it out, and then we go and put it back into our kitchen. We're probably using it to boil something or heat up something or do, reheat frozen, like cook frozen packs or something. But it's not our kitchen. It's not actual cooking. That's what we are doing. Most of the businesses now, you go in, putting something, getting something out, taking that output and putting it back into tools that you actually use, right? And that is roughly 5% of what AI can do for your business. If the next morning you start over again, no memory, that is experimentation. That is still not implementing AI in your business. Where you need to go to is where you build AI as an operating system for your business. So imagine a chef, your private chef, who knows your favorite recipe, who knows how you want it to be cooked, where are ingredients, what ingredients are needed, what tools do you need, what pots and pans and oven and whatever, which plate do you want it to be served on. That is an operating system, which is a full kitchen, where AI does the work when you are not at your desk. You can just give it a command and walk away, and it will do it for you. It knows your business inside out, your voice, your processes, your tools, and it can directly access those tools and work on them. So every output that you get is to customize to your brand and your voice and your business. This move, this shift, it is a paradigm shift. It is not just, today I'm doing it like that, tomorrow I can do it like that. No, you need to slowly go to a way where you make AI really effective on your business. And for that, you need to build the right architecture. But what does that look like? What does it mean, right? So this, for example, is my morning routine. When I wake up in the morning, I'm getting my kids ready for school, rushing after them. I meditate, I work out, I shower, I get my breakfast and coffee, and I sit down at my desk. What does my AI system do in the meanwhile? It processes all the meetings that I've had the previous day. It captures the notes, it drafts the emails, it updates my CRM tool, it updates my project management tool. It is preparing the outreach list for the people I need to reach out to and writing those messages for me. It creates, based on everything that has happened in my business the previous day, It creates a prioritized brief of what I have to do today, what is coming up tomorrow, what is coming up next week, what I need to remember. It drafts the LinkedIn content for today, finds it in my project management tool, gets the content idea, and writes it in my voice in the way that I'd like to write LinkedIn content. It researches new leads, it filters them, and it drafts personalized messages. It cleans up my folders and my files on my hard drive so nothing looks very messy anymore. Every week, it summarizes the latest AI news filtered through the lens of my audience, not just any AI news, but I work with small businesses. So, what is relevant for small business happening in the world right now? And then it pushes it to my content system, which uses those news articles to generate content ideas for the week. Okay? This is all that happens by 9:30 a.m. in the morning, which is when I sit down. It's ready, waiting for my review. And that is when it becomes a system. How does that work? So here, this is you, where you command it. And this is where the output happens directly in the tools that you're using. And this is the whole infrastructure that runs in the background. So you have the business brain. This is where it stores all the data, the context about your business, the processes, the voice, your pricing, your offers, your audience, everything about your business. It has a boss, which tells your AI should it work for your business, not any business, your business. What should it do? What files should it access? What processes should it follow? What should it do? What should it not do? What is completely banned in your system? For example, one of the things that is banned in my system is that it can never send an email on my behalf till I review it. I simply do not give it the permission to, right? Some people might want to send an email on their behalf. For me, it can only draft the messages. So this is an example of putting in the guardrails and the boss of how AI needs to behave. The boss also says which AI employees should it dig up for which kind of task. And once the AI employees are drugged up, how should it fit the brain to it? How should it pull the data? The employees, the AI, the tools that I'm using for my business, not just AI tools. What are the tools I'm using? My Google Drive, my Gmail, right? It connects to the automation. So I simply have to give it one line command, and it connects all of this and delivers the output straight into my tool. For example, if I say, process this meeting and draft a message, it will draft a message directly in my email and keep it ready for me. So I don't have to copy paste the output and go and do that. And when you do these tasks again and again, it ends up saving not just time, but it makes you so much more productive because it gives you the mental capacity to focus on things that really need human input. For example, have a call with someone, to build a relationship with someone, to find new people, go to a networking event, right? This is stuff that AI cannot do. So outsource the manual stuff that it can do so you can go and do the stuff that only humans can do. And why does it work? So imagine this is your business and you have an AI layer that is sitting across your whole business. As you remember, it's not a side project anymore. It's not a microwave anymore. It is integrated into your business. So if you want to draft an offer, you want, your sales and pipeline, you want to draft a new offer, or you want to think of a new course you want to create, but you want it to be based on, you want AI to create that course, but it should pull up all the strategy documents that you have created, your positioning documents, or maybe your previous notes about something. It says, bring in all of that information, process it like this, and then create my course material based on this information. So this is so specific to your business because nobody else in the whole world has those specific files, has that specific information about what your business is and what you've done in the past, right? If you want to create something for your clients. And if you want to create, let's say, content, and you want it to be based on some meetings you have had with your previous clients, and it's like, okay, my client asked me, or somebody asked me this thing that day, pull the transcript of that call and turn it into content that is relevant for my audience. Now, obviously, if somebody is asking you that is relevant for your audience, but you don't have to go fetch that information, think of it in your head, and then create the content. AI does it for you, 80% of it, because everything is interconnected, right? And as I was mentioning, it is connecting to all your tools. So it's not, these are just some examples of tools it can connect to, but it can, for example, it connects to your email, your calendar, your project management, CRM, your Canva, your Gamma, or what have you, right? Many, many more. You can connect it to any tool you want, and it will do the work directly in the tools. So let's see a case study. This is a real example of something that I've done for one of my clients before. So this is a bookkeeping client. And the challenge was that a lot of their customers were sending in their information, like their invoices, their receipts, their bank statements. And now the accountant had to sit and manually go through each and every line of the bank statement, cross check it with their invoice or the email that their client had sent, and then create a reconciliation of where things are not in order, where is there a discrepancy, right? What is not matching? This would take them 8 hours per client every quarter, right? What we did is we connected and we built an AI system that does this, that takes all of these files, the bank statements, the invoices, the emails, the rough notes, whatever exchanges they have had with the clients in the past on email, pulls it all together, and then creates Excel sheets which says these are the things that were matched, these are the things I could not find a record of. This is something that looks funny, like you have one bank statement, but you have two invoices. There's a discrepancy here. And creates an Excel sheet, creates a PDF, creates a complete list of items, and also creates an email that the accountant can send to their clients and saying, hey, these are the things that are missing or not matching. Can you revise and send us this information by the date? So imagine if how much work is consolidated within a few hours for one person to do. This ended up saving them around 72,000 euros per year in terms of man hours. The other one was a content package where I had a client who said, listen, I need to create a lot of content, but I don't have time. So, but I will give you rough notes because I know my industry. So from his expertise, based on his expertise, he gave me a lot of information that can, in a Word document, in a simple Word document. And then I built separate workflows for each kind of content. So how does a blog post should be written? What is format? How is it SEO optimized, right? How should it process information? Okay, every blog post, he wants a table, a comparison table. Okay, this is the format of the blog post. So it's not just write any SEO blog post. It is how do you write for his business? How do you write a blog post? How do you write a LinkedIn post, a video script, an email newsletter? All of these are separate workflows. Now you combine them all and you create into a master system. So the moment you say, use this document, you don't even have to upload the document. The AI system will find it on your folder. Go check this document and run the master content agent. And then it creates all the content for you in one single file. And this is, again, it's not spinning up things. It will take it a lot of time to go and read through all the context, the business brain, remember, and all the relevant information before it processes and gives you. So what this helped my client do is get a lot more visibility because he could get a lot more content out, very custom content, which led to a big influx in his lead management, in the incoming of leads. Which leads us to another workflow that I did, which was about lead generation and management. This was a very complex one because this chain of workflows with human in the loop. So the first workflow was where AI would go and connect to Play, which is where you can get leads from, like information from, and then it would collect a bunch of leads. It would enrich the data, which is it would go through every lead, every person's information, every business information, check which is relevant for the business. This was for a health clinic, and it was like, okay, not every person is relevant for this business. So let me filter out the ones who are not relevant based on the criteria that we gave it. So it is not making up criteria of its own. It is actually creating it based on going through a checklist and saying, okay, these are these people meet, and also using its intuition, its analysis based on the criteria. It scores and filters them, and it says, okay, this 20% leads are qualified for you. Then you have the outreach part where it says, okay, these people are qualified. Now, how do we connect to them? We can't just do cold DMs. Nobody answers cold DMs. How do we find, like a generic DMs, I mean? So how do we find relevant information about what is going on in their business? So let's look at their social media. Let's look at their website. Let's look at how many people they're hiring. So get all of these signals and then draft a message which is based on this personalized information. Create this draft and keep it. And then the business owner could go and manually check the draft. Like remember, one of the guardrails I set up is don't send anything, just keep the draft ready. So the human would draft the message and send the message. Now when the message is sent, you have some interactions, which is human led. As I said, this is human in the loop. And then you book a call. Once you book the call, then the AI goes and processes that call and says, okay, this is what was discussed, and this is what you need to do after this. Then it adds those tasks in a project management tool, saves the data in a CRM tool, updates the pipeline, and creates a follow-up email that you can send to the client or the lead after the first call has taken place. So because the lead generation and management process was compressed in terms of how efficiently they could run it, of course, besides time, how on point it was, that it saved them a lot of time, which led to actually new clients every single month. On average, about 3 new clients per month in a year, right? And of course, it's time saving. I mean, AI is, of course, time saving. But the point is not about just saving time. It's about using AI-powered workflows and automation to actually improve the growth of the company. So if you were to start with one task today, and this is the thing that most people miss, and people are jumping to creating AI agents and AI systems and AI workflows. The most important thing that you can give AI is the brain, the context, the data. How do you customize AI to you? Because the more you give it the data, the more you tell it how your business operates and what you want it to work as. It's like getting a new person on your team. When you bring them in, you have to train them on how your company works. What is it all about? Who are your audience? What is your voice? The more you can build this out and feed this to your AI, that is when you start moving from the 5% to the 95%, one layer at a time. You don't have to do everything together. Just see how much your output changes when you give it the data versus when you don't give it the data. That is the real test you can run, even if you want to do something as simple as creating content. Tell it very specifically how it should read your data and how it should create, and do one time where you don't give anything and give it just a topic and ask it to create. There is a huge amount of difference. And this huge amount of difference actually translates to business growth if done consistently over a period of time. So that was it. And I'm still 3 minutes to go. So I don't know if this is the point for questions or is it later? I don't know how the system goes.
Yeah, hi, Polumi. So, yes, we would be taking questions later. So, we'll
Okay.
allow you to speak and other speakers, then we'll take it after. Yes, thank you.
Okay. That's it from my side then. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Polumi. Guys, let's send in our emojis, our thanks emojis, our clapping emojis. Let's send them in. Thank you very much, Polumi. That was That was loaded. I know we had like a bit of time constraint, but that was quite loaded. I took some notes, and I'm sure other people took notes as well. Guys, let's
I
send
just
it
hope
in.
it
Thank you
wasn't
very
too
much.
overwhelming because I know it was, as you said, it was very packed, and I didn't want it to be overwhelming. So I'm happy to address any questions later.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I hope we got that so you can prepare your questions if there are areas that you would like to clarify, things you would like her to buttress later. Please note them. We'll be taking the questions and comments later. All right. We'll move to the next person, to the next speaker, who we already have lined up for tonight, as we still continue in the conversation around AI influence and income, how we can leverage artificial intelligence to improve our productivity, to improve our career outcomes, and many more, and also businesses. So we're going to start learning. We're going to hear from another speaker who is going to be speaking specifically for AI for creators, branding, and content systems. Is going to explore how creators and brands can leverage artificial intelligence to scale their storytelling, to build stronger digital presence, and also create sustainable content systems without losing its authenticity. All right. So please welcome with me Mario Francis B. Mario is a brand strategist, is a community builder, and also an AI enthusiast. So please make welcome Mario Francis B. All right, Mario, if you're here with us, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Basu, the first speaker. Really lovely stuff. I think from what she was sharing, these are some ideas that had already been in my head, and she just executed some AI workflows that I sort of use, but I've not detailed it as much as she has done. Well, yeah, thank you so much. I think I'll even chat with her after this conversation. So I'll just get right into it. I'm seeing my time counting already, so let me just share my slide and okay, let me just pick my document. Give me a minute. Right. So I believe at this point everybody can see my screen now. Please confirm if you can see it. Mm,
Yes,
can you
yes,
see my
it's up.
screen? Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
it's
quick
up now.
question, guys. All right, beautiful. So quick question, guys. If I were to ask you what tool did I use to create this slide? I would like to see your answers in the chat. Just drop it in the chat what you think. What tool do you think I used to create this? Looking, someone said Kimi, I guess. Okay. Who else? Gamma. Okay. Who else? Canva. Okay. Who else? Okay. Let me leave it there. Right. Cloud AI. Oh, beautiful. These designers here are really AI conscious. All right. So yeah. So let me explain my workflow. Right. But I'll explain my workflow at the end of the day. I don't want to spoil it. Let me leave that as my little secret, right? What I used to create this, and I'll just get right into it. AI for creators, branding, and content systems. As creatives today, we are creators. We do branding for those of us that offer it. If we're not branding for others, we're branding for ourselves. And of course, we all know that content is king. So everybody has some form of content on the internet. But the side note at the bottom says build your brand faster, create content at scale, and stay unmistakably you. With the AI content all around, people are losing their identity. I want to see how we can clear that out quickly. With the noise now that AI is creating, these days you can see an image and say, "Oh, that's AI." Um, and AI almost sounds like lazy work when it's done wrong. When in unskilled hands, AI looks like lazy work, right? It's like because it's garbage in, garbage out. So if you're not an authority, you don't know what you're building for, why you're building it. Another thing is we've gotten to the era where nobody cares how you built it, right? So what if I use Gemma? What if I use Canva? What if I use Cloud? Right? That doesn't change who I am, right? And the only reason I'm speaking to you guys is because I am who I say I am, right? And that's something AI cannot take away from you or anybody here, right? So the next slide, the creator's dilemma. This is where we are, right? A lot of designers spend a lot of time doing repetitive tasks. I work in an organization and I can tell you for free a lot of things are repetitive, right? And you just have to create AI workflows, right, around those repetition. Um, and then there's also the brand draft, the brand voice drifts across platforms. You're trying to manage multiple platforms while doing your 9 to 5 or while freelancing. And if you're not careful, you might lose it. And then there's also visuals, right? You're creating for multiple platforms. The stats here say 73 creators struggle to create content. That's because you don't have the time. That's really what AI is here for, right? You need more content to cut through the noise. So how can you do that? You're just one you know, you have a camera, you have a phone. If you had to make one video every day, you'd make 30 videos in a month, right? But with AI, you can create 30 videos in one day, right? And that's what we are trying to get to. How do we get to that point, right? What is the dilemma? Next slide will answer. So this is what AI is here to do for you, and this is what it has also done for me. Speed, right? From brief to publish. I work in a really fast-paced environment. I lead design, and I can tell you that at every minute, you're literally at the next design task. You're chasing the next deadline. You cannot do it all. You need AI, right? AI for simple tasks, right? For instance, let's say somebody sends me their picture and it's pixelated, right? I'm supposed to work on an ad. I can send to an AI, but of course you need to know the AI engine that you want to use, right? I can send to an AI and say, hey, this is pixelated, work on it. If you use the wrong model, right, certain models fit better tasks better, right? So I'm not sure a cloud, right, would do the work for you. So you have to find a fitting AI to do your work, right? Consistency, right? So like she said, you need to build a brain. So if you understand your tone, style, and language, right, you'd be able to create consistent content. So what's happening now, if you check very closely on the internet, you can pick an AI, you can pick an AI content. Just check, go on the internet, go on LinkedIn. That's where we write a lot. Look at how people write. You almost see the tonality. It sounds AI. What's happening is that people are watering down their brand. So if you don't decide what your tone, in quote, branding is, you miss out, right? Scale. You can create multiple content. So what I do these days is my workflow starts with, maybe if I want to create content, it starts with just recording my voice notes. See, with my voice note, I can create a video from it. I can create a LinkedIn post from it. I can create an article from it. I can create so many things from just recording. But the idea is to start original, right? AI also has ideas, a billion ideas you could think of when you want to execute one, but you don't have the luxury of thinking through all those ideas. So sometimes I just send AI my prompts or my copies and tell them, oh, I'm working on this, you know, think of creative ways I can visually express it. And it does that for me. And what I just have to do is pick the particular idea I want and work with it. And of course, insight, right? Nothing is as powerful as insight. You have the power of insight in your hands. Yeah, I can equip what you do with that. The next slide talks about AI powered branding system. I think this is where, you know, this is where it's particular for us as brand builders and brand managers, right? You're designing brands for people, and here's what happens. The reality is that when they start building for themselves, sometimes it gets lost in their lack of, you know, branding or design knowledge. You can build a brain for them, right? A visual brain. Canva has something where you can plug in like your tone, your voice tone. It has like I think calls it a kit, right? You can use something like that and create everything, colors and everything for them, so that when you hand over, and that could be a deliverable for you. You could say, hey, I'm going to create an AI kit for you, or something to help you when you're using AI. So you don't water down the brand. So you start with the brand voice. How do you want to sound? One way I keep consistent with my own content is I always start out with recording my voice. It will be unmistakably what I said, right? AI can furnish it for me, but ideally it stays true to who I am, so it doesn't get lost in the noise. Visual identity, most of you do that for people, your colors, your fonts, imagery, and all of that. In fact, what the slide you're looking at here, even though it was designed by an AI, I had to keep consistent with my colors, the kind of font I use. I don't want to be looking like a different brand. So that's something that you have to be conscious of if you're building a brand for yourself or for other people, right? Um, Content DNA. I think she talked about that, right? Narrative framework, signature hook, call to action. There are certain things that are repetitive for you. If you manage a community like I do, you get to put out content across all your social medias, right? You get to create long form content and short form content. You always want things that are signature for you, like maybe do this, a call to action that ends the entire thing to stay consistent, and you can just tell AI to follow the draft that you've created earlier to do that. Um, Together, all of this will put together your branding system that you can always leverage when you're creating content. Sorry, because of my time, I'm just trying to rush through. So this is something everybody can do, right? If you can screenshot this slide. Start here, idea seed. Always start with the idea, right? Start raw, start natural, start from the problem statement, the brief, the idea. What is it? Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, she's based in Nigeria. Her husband is based abroad, and she sends me an invite. The invite doesn't have their pictures together, and I'm like, why is there no picture together? That's obvious, right? What can I do? What's the workflow for me? Right. So I have to, send me pictures of you and your spouse. And this is the idea. This is the problem. The problem is she sent me an invite. It's a visual problem. They are not in the picture together. What do? I use an AI to bring them together. I'm like, oh, okay, this is nice. I said the tune, I said the mood. I already had the idea in my head. I'm like, oh, I want this to be like categorical, right? Like maybe I'll show you the prompting I used. And all of a sudden, I've created like a set. Because I understand how photography works, I'm very specific in what I want. Lighting, the shade, where I want it to be, and everything comes out. And I have to pick, right? AI won't do all of those things for you, right? And it gets to a point I have to also create a video off of that, and I know how I want to direct it, right? So we've created the image and we've directed a video production for two people that are not physically in the same place. That's exactly how AI works, but you have to start with the problem, right? So do an AI draft. For instance, if I'm working on a layout design, I feed it to Claude and I'll tell Claude, design this for me. Now, Claude is going to get everything technically correct, but it's going to miss the tone. It's going to miss a lot of things that are not on brand the way I want it. But what it has done, it has organized the content in a way where I can now work with it. It has created an AI draft for me, right? Brand filter. So you run it, like I said, mentally, you can have these brand filters. Oh, these are not the colors I want. So most times I'll tell it, give me in a downloadable, AI editable, PPT editable, or whatever editable file, so I can make it on brand. And then you can repurpose it, right? So let's say I want to do a webinar, right? And I say I start with the voice note. I record the voice note. I send it to AI, any AI of my choice, and I tell you, oh, from this attached, create captions for XYZ, all of these platforms, and it's going to create and repurpose it. Let's say I'm done with the webinar and I have the notes draft. I can feed the note draft to AI and say, oh, create a short article for me from off of this. and then I host it on whatever platform I'm using. Some AIs I use for video, and suddenly from just one raw real information, which is me and someone else having real conversations, I've had every other thing sorted out. So I would always say start original, start true, start from a real problem. What people do most times is they just start from nowhere, literally, right? And they just enter the enter their prompt and get garbage in, garbage out. You've seen a lot of AI created flyers, signature black and gold, right? That's an example of how you're misusing it. And then, of course, there's scheduling. In scheduling, you have automation. So if you do automation, you can do a lot of things without doing them every single time. Um, the next one is the creator's AI tool stack. So these are some of the things I use, and I think you can screenshot this part too. You have writing and copy, you have visual design, you have video and audio, you have strategy and analysis. So these sort of like decide on how you can, create your AI workflow. So I can start with like copywriting with like a Claude or a Chat GPT, and I can take it to like an Adobe Firefly and say, oh, okay, I've created this. This is what I am. This is what I want to create. And then from there, I can even take it and feed it to another. I can feed it to any other platform I want, maybe CapCut AI or any other AI video production AI model. And then there's strategy and analytics, right? Where you can sort of like create like scheduling or how you want this information to go. And suddenly you have everything sorted out, right? Um, I think this is just do's and don'ts, right? Here's what you should do, right? Stay human at scale. This is what a lot of people might be losing with AI. A lot of people are becoming more mechanical, more artificial, more picture perfect. That's what AI is going to do for you. So you want to start real, start original, build like she said, our first speaker, build like your AI brain, something to guide it, build your brand, and then don't put out AI stuff without critiquing it, without allowing your human side to see it, without and then using things like generic prompts, fact checking, and some of the other things that people do. On last note, AI accelerates, you direct, your story stays yours. So when you're building an AI workflow, always starts with things that are real, right? So you can always have original results. On the final slide, this is just something you can do, right, to start practicing, some of these things I've talked about. Let me zoom in a little bit and see if I can just show you. Okay, yeah. So here is what, so it's telling you do a brand audit, your brand voice presently. What are some of your best performing content, right? Things you created organically, right? Phrases you use, how you sound, document these things. They become your foundation. What's your tone? What's your visual style? With two, build a prompt library. Currently working on a project and I'm building a prompting library for how I want their photography to be. So if another designer is working with me, you're not allowed to just go and create your own prompts. No, you start with a real image and then you reprompt the image so it looks in a certain way, right? Then we work with that image. Week three, create repurposing workflow, right? So things that will be consistent, you can create like a workflow with some of the things she shared. I think a lot of automation will come into these things. And then week four, set your guardrails. What do you want? What are the things that you only want to write yourself, right? For instance, you're writing a love note to a family member. I don't think you should be using AI to do that, right? Certain things should still stay human. So put guardrails. There are certain things that you shouldn't allow AI do for you, right? You have to do them yourself. When you found out those things, I feel like AI is just an assistant, right? And in the modern world, people really don't care how you do it. They just want you to do it. I think that's all I'll be able to say with my short time. I hope I was able to provide enough insights. You can check out my link tree. I linked it there at the top, link tree / Mario B. So you see some of the things that I do. AI is here to stay, guys. Embrace it. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you to those who are already sending in their appreciation. Thank you very much, Mario. That was so much value. Yes, I understand that we just have like 15 minutes each to speak, but I mean, so much value from what has been shared so far by both speakers. If you're getting value like me, just leave it in the chat box, or continue with the emojis and the reactions if you're getting value from this session. Thank you very much. AI for creators. So if you are on the call and you are a creator, you work in branding, you work in design, or if content creation and many more, these are actionable steps, actionable approach that you can take. Some of the things that Mario spoke about, or maybe to summarize it, the ways that artificial intelligence can help you to improve what you do. It can help you to increase your speed. It can help you to maintain consistency. It can help you to scale faster. Artificial intelligence can also help you to generate ideas and insight to make what you do, to make it better and improve it much more. Thank you once again, Mario. So we'll take the conversation further. And thanks once again to House of Tech for setting this up. The sessions have been arranged in such a way that it covers a large number of people, a large number of categories. So the first speaker spoke with regards to business, how you can make artificial intelligence to improve your business. Mario just spoke about creators, and now we're going to learn how it can help people who are in the technical space. And so we're going to be learning AI, automation, and the future of technical careers. Our speaker is going to be providing practical insight into how engineers and technical professionals are integrating AI into things like software development, automation systems, and product workflows. So at this time, make welcome with me our next speaker, Olumide Emmanuel. Olumide Emmanuel is a software engineer and a technical lead. So let's bring our applause, let's bring our reactions as we welcome Olumide to take us on the next conversation. Olumide, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Um, Thank you for having me. I hope everyone can hear me clearly, right?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So today I would let me share my screen. I'll be talking about AI automation, the future of technical careers. Also, I believe everyone can see the screen I'm sharing. We've heard we've
Yes.
heard about business, and we've heard about design, how AI can help improve all this. Now we're going into the technical aspect of things, which is how we can use AI, or what does the future look like for people in the technical field um, when it comes to AI. A few years ago, people would most likely ask, is AI, like, is it going to be important? But now that is not a question again, because that question has been answered. AI has find itself in virtually all aspects of our lives, like all aspects of our lives, from the way we work, like work from our day-to-day lives, the way we communicate, the way we see tools and the way we use tools. Technically, all the social media right now have like some form of AI. There's AI in Instagram, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Twitter. Everybody is just diving into AI. So right now that we are at the point at which we all know that AI is very, very important. AI has been part of our lives. The real question now is, what happens to professionals who learn to work with AI versus those who don't? So I would say we have two set of people right now. People that tend to use AI in their workflow, people that tend to leverage on the usefulness and the gains of AI, and for people that don't. So we are at two extreme ends. One thing I would say is that AI is not replacing your job. AI is not replacing every job. AI won't replace every job. AI is needed, and we humans also we are needed. But what AI is doing is helping you to actually um work on your job more efficiently, or in an efficient way. Let me just put it that way. So if you are someone that efficiency is more of like if you are someone that spend like 1 hour on a job, um AI would, if you use AI very well, it will help you increase your, like reduce the time it takes to actually perform some of the tasks you would have done manually. Now, the professionals who understand how to combine like the expertise of AI with their work would get more productivity, and they would deliver more values to the companies in which they have been employed for, or in which or whatever business they are in. And also they would be more competitive, um, because they don't just solely rely on the traditional means or ways of doing things, or the traditional method. These are people that actually imbibe AI workflows into what they do, and they see, and you will see that most of all these people, the future belongs to them. The future actually belongs to you and I, who can effectively collaborate with intelligent systems. So gone are those days whereby you have to do everything from start to the end. These days nobody do everything from the start to the end again. I was checking out Twitter 2 days ago. It was just 2 days ago, and then I saw, I'm a software engineer, by the way, so I saw this screenshot of someone putting, this is how someone sent a screenshot with hello world. He said, this is how most developers started their programming journey, or their development software engineering journey. And someone replied that that was in the 2000s. Right now, people are building complex mobile apps and deploying it. That is how they started their own AI. That is how they started their own software engineering journey. Nobody is doing hello world to HTML or whatever it is again, or Python. Nobody is doing that again. People are effectively using AI to fast track most of all these things that we would have to like learn, take time to learn, take time to understand. Why? Because when you use AI, you get up to speed with so many things. You get up to speed with so many things. So the first subtopic I was supposed to talk about is AI assisted software development. AI assisted software development. So, how is AI helping software developers or software development? How is it improving the workflow when it comes to software development? So, one of the biggest shifts happening in engineering today is transitioning of writing every line of codes manually to collaborating with AI. Gone are those days whereby you have to basically write every single line of code. I remember when I started the whole AI, the whole software engineering thing, and I was building something similar to Facebook in those days because I needed a job. I had to write every single line of code. Every single line of code, I have to write it. But right now, I don't need to do that. Why? Because I know what I want to do. I just tell AI, this is what I want you to help me to do. Get it out. Once AI gets it out and I feel like it should have done better, or it is not following the approach, then I'm going to type it again like Cloud, there is an error here, or this is the approach I'm expecting you to follow, and then it's going to do that for me. So AI helps modern developers in generating boilerplate codes. Also, AI would help you to like fix issues faster. Also, I would say AI help you to understand project faster. Also, sometimes when you get a new job, let's say you're a software engineer, not you might not necessarily be a software engineer, you might just be like a project manager, and then you get a new job, you are working in a fintech or something like that. These people already have their products, they have their products going on. It is something like AI that would help you get up to speed at a very, very short time. Um, as a business developer, right? You just got onboarded into a project. You need AI to help you summarize what exactly is my team doing. As a project manager that you just onboarded into a new team, you need you need AI to help you grasp what is the goal of this project, like where exactly you need to do. Even for software testers, people that test softwares, either manually or, or automated software testers, AI is there to help you to write tests. Uh, Personally, in these days, I don't think there's any software engineer or any software tester that writes tests manually again, because there are a lot of AI that can actually help you get that work done. So why would you want to spend time writing tests when you can just give it to your popular AI to write that test for me and then make sure this thing is working perfectly? Also, for people that designs or create documentations or project planners like that, there are several AIs that can help you with documentation or prototyping. As simple as oh, you want to build a website or you want to build a mobile app. There are platforms that can just design mobile apps for you without even opening Figma. That's how AI is going right now. I use most of all these platforms. There's one called Stitch. It's made by Google. That's Stitch. It's you just give it prompts. Oh, I want to build a fintech. I want the home page to have login with email or phone number and a password. It's going to design that thing for you. You can even go all the way to like, I, I would want the team color to be green. It's going to design that's specifically that thing for you. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that AI does not eliminate the needs of engineers, or the needs of technical people. Technical people are not really fully engineers. There are a lot of people in technical field that are not engineers, like designers, testers, business management. So AI would not eliminate the need of all these professionals. Instead, AI would help reduce repetitive work. It will also allow technical people to focus majorly on the architecture, majorly on the business logic, or help them to see how to solve more problems and help them to think critically. I'll say most of the time, AI does not fully help you with thinking. You are the one that would direct the AI as to what kind of approach you want. And I feel that's even the best way to use AI. You direct AI like, okay, this is what I'm thinking of. What do you think about this approach? Do you think it's the best? If AI says, oh, these are the pros and the cons of that approach, then you are going to ask, okay, what do you think of this other approach? And then AI will give you this thing. You can even ask AI to give you suggestions. So I feel like engineers and technical peoples would spend less time typing or writing, or spend less time typing of their codes and more of like designing solutions, right? The second subtopic is productivity tools for developers. We have several productivity tools right now, and productivity is going to become a competitive advantage for you as a technical person when you learn to use AI the right way. AI tools can help you to summarize a technical document, right? AI tools can help you to even write a technical document. AI tools can get technical documents and then write it for you in a plain language that you can send to project owners. Project owners are, let's say for example, someone meets me now, oh, I want to build something like Facebook, right? This is what AI would help me to like translate into a documentation I can present to him or her, and then the person is going to read it. AI would help you as a technical person to analyze logs, to generate reports, incident reports, or create technical specification whenever things happen. Again, the biggest gain of AI is not that AI is going to replace humans. No, it is actually there to help increase human output or productivity. Now, the third subtopic I have is AI workflow and automation system. The real power of AI is when you actually make it part of your workflow. Instead of just isolating AI to, oh, what is this? Or asking it just questions. Organization that build systems, build system that integrates very well with AI can receive information automatically, process that information, make intelligent decisions, trigger actions from those information, and then notify stakeholders. So currently, I worked on some projects that whenever we get information, I integrated AI into the workflow. Whenever we get any information from the logs, there are some things whereby I just send directly to AI to fix the issue. There are some things based on the logs I get, I'll tell it send an email to me. Because let me give you an example. Let's say I built a system whereby I'm sending a lot of emails, and then the information come into the system that, oh, and I've connected AI to it, that, oh, the payment, I need to update my payment for some certain payment provider. AI will not fix that payment provider for me. I have to go back there and then type in my credit card or my debit card information so that that service provider can unblock me, right? So when you build a workflow that is properly integrated to AI, then it's going to trigger some of all these things. It's going to notify me as a stakeholder that, oh, payment needs to be done here. Oh, I need to remember to send some email. Or, oh, this email that I just got is very, very important. I need to like reply to it. Now, um, customer support automation is one of the ways whereby AI is being used right now. Like there's some information you get on your customer support that you don't need human beings to reply to you. AI can just give them the response based on how you feel, like the information you have on your system. So lead qualification system also is something that AI is being used for. A very, very important one is internal knowledge assistance. Most of the banks we have now, they are, most of them currently are building an internal knowledge-based application using AI, right? So when you ask question like, how do I increase my limits, my transfer limits, some credit for people that use credit card limit or debit card limit or something like that, you don't need a physical human being to start typing, oh, open your bank app, go to settings and all the stuff. This is what AI will do for you. Now, with that, you as a technical person, you've saved money, you've increased productivity also for yourself and for the company that employ you. AI powered system that is an intelligent system is a system for the future. That's one thing I want us to know. The fourth subtopic is how engineering teams are using AI. You can use AI in any and everything. Like currently in AI, like currently with AI, you can use for data analysis, you can use AI. For product management, to manage a project, you can use AI. For customer support, AI. Documentation, AI. Software engineering, AI. For quality assurance or quality testing, AI. Like AI has practically been something that is here and here to stay. It's not something that you would want to discard. It's something that you want to integrate into your workflow. Now things are becoming faster because not because they have more people. You get some information whereby some teams will tend to, like some companies will tend to lay off some people, right? And then they are still working very, very well. Why? Is because they have learned to use the little people they have and then integrated AI into their workflow to make sure their workflow goes better. Now, future proofing yourself with or future proofing your technical careers, what I would say is that you as an engineer or you as a technical person, you have to have strong problem solving skills. You need to understand problems. You need to understand how system thinks. You need to be able to communicate properly. Like communication right now is very, very important. You need to be able to adapt also to the various AI tools we have. Now, AI can generate code for you. AI can build a mobile app for you. AI can build a website for you. But if you don't fully understand the business context, how it can make money for your company, what the stakeholders feel is the priority for them, what the users would want, or the kind of strategic decision information or decision making that would be needed on that system, then you won't be seen as a future-proof technical person. I I practically have less than a minute. I'll say there are several again. There are major technical shifts that would create two set of people. Those are they are one that those who observe the change, they are just looking at how AI is going and how AI is improving without jumping on the train. And there are those who position themselves properly to use this AI to make use of AI automation or AI workflows in their day-to-day life. Now, AI is going to create one of the largest technical shifts in our current generation, and then it is currently doing that. The opportunity is not reserved for just people that are AI researchers in Silicon Valleys and like. No, the opportunity belongs to everyone. I've seen people without technical background building mobile apps, building websites for people, for their fellow friends. It's as simple as going into cloud or ChatGPT to create a prompt. Oh, I need a website that can do this and this and this. Okay, go through this thing and go and check for an example. AI, sorry, the future is not AI versus humans. The future is going to be how humans use AI versus, sorry, it's going to be humans that use AI versus humans that don't use AI. The best time to start adopting AI was yesterday. That's the best time, was yesterday. And the second best time is today, which is now. I would want to employ everyone to make AI or to see AI as not something that will replace you in your job, but it is something that will help you get your work done faster. Thank you very much for having me, and I will yield the time to the director.
Thank you very much, Olumide. Thank you very much, guys. Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. The reactions, the applause. If you have been getting value, let's see it, let's hear it. Thank you very much. I think something that I keep hearing, Charles, I see your hand. I'll allow you to speak in a moment. I think something that I've heard across the three speakers so far is how that we need to start thinking beyond just singular AI tools. Whatever field you are, if you're a technical person, if you're a creative, if you're a business owner, we need to start thinking beyond just individual AI tools. We need to start thinking systems. We need to start thinking, how do we bring together multiple AI tools? How do we integrate these tools into whatever we do? If you're a creative, if you're a technical person or a business owner, how do we bring these tools together to work together, collaborate intelligently, and use them to improve the outcomes in whatever space or field we're in? Thank you again, once again, Olumide and the other two speakers who have spoken. Charles, I see you raised your hand. Do you have a question or a comment? Hi, Charles. Are you still with us? Okay. All right. I guess would move to the next speaker. This next speaker is a creative director. He is a brand systems specialist, and he will be speaking to us or discussing with us the evolving relationship between creativity, branding, and AI-powered systems. He would also be emphasizing why originality, consistency, and strategic thinking really matters in the use of AI. More like, to further buttress on what Mario had already spoken to. So at this point, let's make welcome Babatunde Ibrahim Orisumbare. Let's welcome Babatunde Ibrahim. Let's bring in the applause. Let's bring in the applause. Babatunde, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone from your various locations. I'm really excited to be here, and we are discussing a very, very important and very, very viable topic. And one thing that I would like to start with before I even like present anything. I basically don't have a presentation, but I'm basically here for us to discuss. I think all previous speakers have done major emphasis on laying the footnotes because they've created a very, very good ground structure on what AI is, why we should use AI, basically, and the importance and why you integrate it in your respective workflows. So to start with, if you look right now, anyone can basically just type any prompt and generate a logo, right? And if you go through the media space, I think it's if you have a strong eye for creativity, you can see the ones that are flat, those logos that are flat, and even down to posters, right? I think 2 days back on X, it was a very, very growing discussion where people were saying, "Oh, all the posters now, all businesses are just using random, generic prompts to create their posters." But I really want designers to note one thing. If our value as designers are just to make the things look neat, then trust me, I think we're in big trouble. Um, as a designer that likes to think in systems, right? If you really want to scale, especially in the creative market, right? This goes beyond even graphic design. It goes across every creative industry. It is very, very important for you to make sure that you start working in systems, right? You understand your process flow. There is no one way to, making a design or making a production. There are several ways to do it. And as a creative or as a designer, you need to understand your own process internally from start to finish. What does good really mean in design, right? If everything starts to look the same, what are the metrics that we judge and say, okay, something is good, something is bad, or something is off? And I want to even start by, giving a reference to, there's a recent creator in Lagos called Shanks, and, he released his designs for a merch line. And there was crazy buzz on the internet about, oh, this is just copy, there's no creative direction. Perhaps you just throw it to AI to just make a random logo and you put it on the shirt. I was making like crazy money off it, right? In a way, this is the power of design. But at the same time, if it's not used properly, while you're integrating AI into some of these things, you could go wrong, right? So designers, you're not going to lose your jobs, right? But the best way for you to scale and stand out is to make sure that you use your creative skill. You look at your process and say, how can I bring in AI to make me extra productive? So if I'm spending 2 hours on alignments or body structure, if you're designing a report, how can I integrate AI and make me spend less than 10 minutes to do this? This is These are some of the factors you use and say, okay, I need to introduce AI into part of certain part of my workflow. Even your entire workflow, trust me, it is very much quite possible. AI basically isn't killing design for you, even in your creative space. This goes even beyond design. So permit me if I keep using creative. I think basically everybody is a creative. It's not limited to just graphic design alone. We are all creatives, in our own way. It's actually AI is basically just helping you to kill mediocrity. All right. And this is very important. This is what makes you stand out. Are you part of those mediocre set of designers or mediocre set of people that just give like basic outputs? Or you're those parts of those people that give premium outputs, premium deliverables? It's now forcing us to stop acting like, stop thinking like we're using production, there's just bare production lines, or starts thinking like proper strategists. This is very important for you. And I want us to always keep remembering this, that you're not just designing something to look good. We are designing something to work better. And also, systems is pretty important, right? I don't think we do anything without proper systems. If you don't, I'm telling you that you are missing out on a lot. You're not in trouble yet. Maybe you don't know, but when you discover that you're in trouble, that's when you're actually in trouble. So to kill some of these things to be much more productive, emphasis on productive, emphasis on efficiency. This is very, very important, especially with the kind of job market that we have. There are crazy creators out there, extremely talented designers out there, but you need to find a way to make sure that you stand out. So let me give an example of my own creative process, right? So for example, I'm presented with a report, and it's a, let's say, 200-page report, right? The first things first I have to do is I need to understand that there might be errors in the report, and as a creative director who has been given that task to handle publication of that report, the first thing I need to do is I need to properly look at the structure of the reports from start to finish. I need to read through. So imagine reading through a 200-page report. I would sleep there for the most part. But what do I do? I have to start thinking wisely, and I need to integrate an AI into that. And I can basically use any AI. For example, the Google Gemini has a feature called the Notebook LM. And what the Notebook LM can do for you is it can create flashcards, it can create audiobooks, it can create like a podcast version of any document you throw at it. So I throw it in there to give me an insight on, what this research or report is about. And with that, I use it to digest it in. So let's say I'm supposed to use like 4 hours, 5 hours to read through an entire 200-page report. Basically, I can do that in 30 minutes, and I can fully understand what that report is about. And then the next stage is, okay, how do I properly align, this report and know, okay, what it's about, things like that, typography, alignments, going down to the visual basics, right? I have a quick glance through, and I present it to my AI agent and say, okay, I've gone through this report. This is what it's about. Propose a very, very good sounding structure for this report. And then the AI gives me tips and tricks to do this. Right. So that way I've also cut down, let's say I'm going to spend about 5, 6 hours doing that. And I use Adobe InDesign for my report design. Trust me, Adobe InDesign can be hectic and tactic, but it's also the shortest way to design a report properly, right? Because I can create, there's what we call flat templates in Adobe InDesign. Flat templates basically help you to create a basic format for a particular page, right? So with flat templates, I can quickly create like 6 different page outlooks where, I can basically select on each page, okay, use this one, use that one. I can basically select it. So it makes my work faster, right? So if on average I can spend, let's say, 5, 6 days on working on that report, I can do that under 24 hours or 48 hours, give or take, if I'm being lazy. Because sometimes we creators, we designers, we like to take breaks in and out. So this is just a process that I use, right? And it's very important for me. It makes me work faster. And then they tend to wonder, what magic am I using? Because I have to present what I've designed, it's also part of the deliverable to walk them through. It's not just about it looking good. When it comes to reports, it needs to work well. It needs to translate the message that that report is trying to, portray. So this is also very, very important. While I'm building brands, or while I'm building, communities, while I'm building systems, this is, I always go back to the fact that, okay, this is where my actual philosophy comes to play. Because when you're building things, it's not just about like how pretty it looks. It does not just lie on your visual system alone, right? Of that brand. It goes beyond colors, it goes beyond fonts, it goes beyond image. At this point in time, it becomes an interconnected ecosystem, right? I go beyond that and I move to strategy. I look at how I can implement things that, make it look better. And in this AI era, you don't just use AI for random ideas. You don't just use it to just make it quick output. Because one thing a lot of people don't know is there's a core part of AI called prompt engineering. I took a course on it on Coursera. Trust me, my prompting got way better. It's called generative AI. This is not an ad, but it really, really helps me to, prompt better. And just a quick glance of what my prompting structure looks like. The first thing I like to do is I like to give it, let's say I have a document, I share the document and tell the AI to digest it in. Once it's done that, I start by telling the AI a role. Most times I also tend to add experience depending on what I want it to give me. All right. And then from there I start breaking them down. And do you even know that a lot of people don't know this, but there are AIs that help you to write prompts, right? A whole lot of people don't know this. In ChatGPT, it's there. Even in Gemini, you can tell Gemini to write a prompt to solve a problem for you, right? And this is very important to use because once you have your prompts right, it becomes so easy for you. You get proper, well structured outputs than just, giving it random keywords to use and, relieving the output, right? Now, even while you're using it to basically just speed up your work, people bring in this fear that, oh my God, I'm feeding it too much. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, AI is going to take my job one day. I think every other speaker has spoken about this. And I'm just going to reiterate that it's not. If you don't use it properly, trust me, you are going to be left behind. This is 2026, and look at how far, AI companies like Anthropic, Google, Microsoft are. Now, imagine AI in the next 5 years. If you don't start now, when do you start to use it? So I'm always big on championing, the use of AI in daily tasks. It's really, really important. AI cannot work without an human edge. There's an human edge to these things, right? And one major part of it is it's basically not only going to make you work faster, but indirectly, it also helps you to become a better creative and a better designer, right? There are times when I share problems, but when it gives me some solutions, when I implement them, I'm like, okay, I could have even done this way, right? It gives me a solution and opens my eye to an even better solution. That's one human edge that, a lot of people tend to oversee. They're not really cautious of, right? It is very important. Whenever you get an output from AI, you need to also, depending on what kind of task it is, you need to also look at it. And by the time you're using it, it's like, okay, this is very good. It gives me, a proper edge to, what the problem I have. And, your work becomes so seamless. And you yourself as a creative, you yourself as a designer, I mean, come on, you would even be so impressed. And I always like to tell people that feedbacks are not a way to bring you down, but feedbacks are a way to even make you feel better. I'm one who loves critique. I love sharing my work to people. Oh, have a look. Even though you're not in the field, sometimes people who are not even in your field might have an eye for things that you might not even have, or you might even miss out on. And I see AI as my biggest feedback agent for me, right? As far as I'm sharing it with people, AI gives me some very, very good insight tips on, my production process, my creation process, things like that. And this is one major human edge of it. You're not just feeding AI to give you something, but AI is giving you something back through new techniques, new learning methods, and things like that, and helps you even, learn better. There's more a part of restraint when it comes to AI in the creative process. True originality right now isn't about the loud, chaotic, overstyle graphics that AI loves to generate. I know this might be something that is big in social space right now because there's a lot of discussion about it. If your feed is about designs, and then you would see some of these things and how they are being used the right way and how they are being used the wrong way. When AI is used the wrong way, it feels like noise. But when you use it the right way, especially in design, you'll be so much immersed in, the kind of output you'll be getting. Right? Think about creating a 3D mock-up of, like, let's say you're doing a countdown posters and it's a tech event, right? And you want to make like a text effect of, let's say, a techno 3D style for the fonts, right? And averagely you can spend about, let's say, an hour or two making that text effect just for one text. And then you now have to copy that same effect like for other numbers. But I could kid you not, AI can do 1 to 100 in under 10 minutes. And it is very, very fast. It's very, very good, and it is very, very clean. Right? This is like very, very good proper way you can actually use it to speed up some of these things for you in your creative process. But one major important thing for me is I always tell a lot of designers, right? Sit down and map out a creative process. Think about, okay, when I get a brief, what do I do when I get the brief? What do I do after I get the brief? What does my research stage looks like? What does my production stage look like? And then how do I output um, thought process? This is very, very important for a lot of designers. And I keep saying it, you can always bring it all home. It is so exciting to be creative because we're all liberated from the boring quotes or the repetitive work. Imagine having to do research every day. You can just give AI to do all these things for you and you can be faster. I would close out with a closing thought that the future belongs to the creative architects, right? Not the production machines. So still the worry about tools, doubling down in strategic thinking and build systems that help you scale your unique perspective. Thank you so much for having me, House of Tech. I really hope that we learned some two things from my submission, and trust me, make it your best friend today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Babatunde. Thank you very much. That was so much value. Thank you. Let's keep it coming, guys. Thank you. I see the reactions. Let's keep it coming. Thank you very much. So, once again, just like Babatunde has said, designers, developers, business owners, whoever you are, AI has not come to replace you or take your jobs or take your businesses away from you. You just need to embrace AI. You need to understand AI. You need to leverage AI. You need to integrate AI into whatever you're doing. That is how you take advantage of artificial intelligence. It's not a time to be scared. It's not a time to sit on the fence. It's a time to embrace. It's a time to embrace, to learn, and also to implement, to maximize this opportunity. Thank you once again to all the speakers who have spoken, from Basu to Mario to Olumide and also to Babatunde. Thank you very much for the wealth of knowledge that you have shared with us. Once again, this session was set up by House of Tech Community and sponsored by Cyberport. All right. So I think it's time for us to take questions. If you have questions, if you have comments that you would like to share or questions you would like to ask, areas of clarification, you may please let us know. You can maybe raise your hand or you can leave the questions in the chat box. We'll take them from there. Or you could also raise your hand so you can speak directly from the microphone. All right, so I'll be waiting. We can see on the screen Cyberport. Earlier, Emmanuel spoke about what Cyberport does and how we can benefit from it. So if you have skills or you're looking to learn digital skills that you can trade, you can opt on Cyberport. As he said earlier, they have lots of clients, lots of businesses who are willing to pay for the skills that you have. So do well to check that website out. It's already in the chat box. Okay, questions, clarifications, comments, anybody? You can raise your hand or you can leave the questions in the chat box. Okay, I guess that would be Babatunde. All right, please go ahead.
Yes, so I have a question for Emmanuel. I think he is the AI automation and person, the engineer, right? So my question goes as does: is there any way that by using AI, because one problem that I usually encounter with my own agent is the high cost of tokens, right? Especially with API calls. It gives me a lot of headache for the most part with how expensive they are. So as an engineer, I've also done some background research, right? And I've been able to look at my prompting, look at my submissions when it comes to giving up files. And I've looked at it as, okay, there's a way you can break down files that it doesn't use as much. So is there any trick or treat to when it comes to using all these like API calls, right? Is there any faster or more cost effective way one can implement or integrate this into an already built AI agent? Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for that question. So that is one problem that I was thinking of early this morning. Currently, at where we work, we are advised to use Devin. We are advised to use Devin, and I discovered that we practically like churn out a lot of money when it comes to like Devin at workplace. Like when I mean a lot, I mean a lot of money on Devin, and it is something that has been going on. Like same thing with ChatGPT. Like when you use Copilot, it's now limiting you to the number of you have a credit, and then once you max it, it's a problem. One trick I do use is you have to get better with prompting. Like you have to get better with prompting, and don't just because for people that use like agent and all those stuff, you might want to like want it to execute, but when you execute and it fails, that's money. Like you execute and it fails, that's money. So one thing I do personally is that let's say for example I'm working on my code editor. I start with prompting. I make sure my prompting is very, very tight. Tell it this is what I want to do. And I want you to think about it properly before you write anything back to me. Like make sure whatever it is you are writing it with the minimum words, and you don't need to use a lot of context. So I give it a lot of prompts like that. Sometimes I have like a MD file whereby I put all these prompts there that okay, this is the problem, but this is the prompt this is the prompt I want you to use for that particular problem. And then make sure you plan properly before you just execute. Like make sure you plan properly before you execute. So most of the time you ask, you plan, and then you now execute. Like you execute your execution should be the last thing. Like it should be the last thing. But if you go directly into doing try and error with agents, you incur more costs. Like try and error with agents, you incur more costs. So I will say that that problem is not solved like fully right now. It is not solved fully right now. It's like the earlier days of computing when some computers are very, very big and they are being sold for $50,000 and the likes. There was a time when ordinary SIM card cost like 20,000 naira in Nigeria, but right now people will beg you to get a SIM. So that's where we are currently when it comes to AI. But as more people get better with prompting, as more money comes into the industry, um, all these things will come down when it comes to like token usage, the amounts when it comes to token usage. Also, AI too will get better with the kind of token is being used to process any information. So that's what I can say. Just try and prompt better, do proper planning with the AI before you continue with execution.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Right, I think one major thing I'll take out from this, even someone that is heavily bent on using agentic AI models, is the fact that for the most part of it, I think it's something that even has to do with the models at times, right? Because I've tried this before where there was a particular process that I was using, or particular flow I was using, but then I changed the model, right? And when I changed that model, I discovered that for the same tax, same results, but I was using like 2 times more for that same particular task from the previous model than the current model. Although the current model was faster, but it took up, trust me, it took up a lot, of tokens and that. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for that detailed explanation.
Yeah, you're welcome. So
Thank you, Emmanuel, and thank you, Babatunde, for that contribution. I see another hand, Omobolanle. Please go on. Please go ahead with your comment or your question. Hi, Omobolanle, are you there?
Hello, can you
Since
hear
you're
me?
speaking, okay, I can hear you now.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. I just have a quick question as a business owner. I handle bookkeeping, tax filing, and all that. So, sometimes depends on the size of the business. So details the kind of statements I get. Now, some people are not so compliant from January to December. So because they now need to get in line in the following year, so they just bombard me with it. I don't have a problem with this since they are going to pay, but recently I'm beginning to feel a bit overwhelmed because I have to take each transaction, I have to take each transaction, post it to the right chart of accounts in order to get my books right. So I'm not asking if there is an AI tool that can diligently simplify that for me, because immediately I finish that, I go into my Excel because I also have background with data analysis very well. Now I go into the Excel, put it in different books, profit and loss, bank reconciliation and all that. Then take the whole thing back to Canva because I want my client to be able to look at the report and be fascinated about it, like, colors and pictures and all that. I know a little bit of graphics, very, very low, on the Canva level. And I just want them to look at the report and say, okay, from the front page, let it be beautiful enough and attractive enough for them to look at it. But the process is, I don't know, because I'm repeating the same thing over and over, is making it overwhelmed. So I just want to ask, is there an AI tool that can just simplify the whole thing for me and, making me more productive than, I don't know if my question is clear.
Hi, yes, Sobobolale, I think it's quite clear. I don't know, maybe Polumi might be interested in helping to answer this question. I know she spoke really well or extensively around the business side of the conversation. Hi, Polumi, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Paul. And can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, Omo Balanleite. I hope I said your name right. Yes, so I think for this, I think you need to consider any tool, any AI tool that essentially, like this is what I was talking about, which integrates with your current business tools. So which integrates with your email, with your Excel, with your Canva, with your Gamma, whatever else that you use, so that it can process the information, take the information that's coming in, process it, analyze where it's going to go, put it over there, and then create the report in whichever tool that you want, for example, in Canva or a PDF. So the tool that I use mostly for this, and you can use any kind of tool that integrates, like you have Claude, you have Codex, you have OpenClaw. So these are things that are integrating. Now you can have it two ways. You can have an a basic automation setup like a Zapier or a Make, and it can, it's just okay, it comes in, it puts it there. But for me, I find it better to add an AI layer, not just automation, because then It is thinking through, it is deciding, and it knows your business. So if you are using a ChatGPT, for example, and you want to continue using, then you can see if Codex lets you do that. For me, I would always recommend Claude because this is something when I talked about, I have worked with bookkeepers before, I have done their entire systems. And this is one of the things that I mentioned in my example as well. It's like information is coming in and somebody has to manually take it, put it somewhere, then create this. It takes a lot of time. So for me, the tool that I build it around with them, and again, it's not about the tool, it's about the infrastructure, was Claude. And it works perfectly for them. So that if you're using that, then I would highly recommend continuing to use it where you connect it to your tools. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, but I'm trying to be clear about this. Are you telling me because I've not been able to get a cloud account. I don't know. They keep telling me my region is this, that. But I'm saying, are you saying if I'm able to get a cloud account, you could do all this processing for me?
Yes, yes. You can set up a
Okay,
workflow.
all
That's
right.
what
Thank
we
you.
say in like AI language, like a workflow
Yes,
or a
yes, I
skill or
can look
whatever
at that. Set up a
that does
workflow, do
this.
the automation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does this
Okay.
automatically, right? And you can have it done. Like if you want to do it immediately as soon as the email comes in, you will have to add in an automation there which triggers it. Otherwise, you can have it like, okay, every morning you can set up a task and say, every morning look at all my emails, look at everything that's come in, put the right folder, analyze what has to be done, and then go and create it out there, right? So it is, if you just ask Claude, one of the easiest ways to use Claude is to tell Claude this exact problem and say, how do I do it? Okay. So if it is just
Okay.
about operation, right, you have to still put a little bit of information about your business because it is making that analysis, it is taking a decision, right? Some cases you may need an
Okay.
agent, which is has to think through and decide, okay, what am I going to do with this? But a simple skill will also be enough, and you can set up yourself as well. So you just tell Claude, this is what I need to do. These are my tools. Build it for me. How do I build this? Okay, and start talking to Claude, and you can go from there.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Of
follow
course.
me.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Polumi. Thank you, Omobolale. All right, I think I see Mario's hand as well. So Mario, do you have a comment or a question so we can take it? Thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my question is to Basu. So basically, I saw some of the workflows she created, and I'm interested in
I can't hear him. Can anybody else hear him?
Yeah, not only you, Mario. I think we can't hear you at the moment.
in Can you hear me? Someone
Now I can
Mario,
saying
hear
they
you.
can't hear me. Can you hear me?
we lost you
Okay,
for a
okay.
bit.
Yeah.
So if you could take it
Okay,
again.
okay. So yeah. So I was just speaking. I'm speaking to Basu now. The question is directed to Basu when it comes to building like AI and operating systems. What I want to ask is, what is the skill and tool stack? I know you sort of like spotlighted some tools, but let's say I'm working with a client that has, I know it's a measure of automation, right? But let's say someone had zero knowledge about all of this. I'm speaking with a business owner. What would you advise them was the skill stack and tool stack they needed? That's my question,
Okay.
really.
So what I suggest is, see, for a business owner who's not in the tech world like you and me, they get very overwhelmed with all of this. Like there's just so much going on. Like, how do I start? What do I do? So as much as possible when talking to a business owner, I use terms that they understand. So I avoid using things like skills and workflows. And I talk about the business problem. Like, what do you want to do? Okay. So what is the problem that you want to solve or the operational problem? So once they can explain that, Then you ask, okay, which tools are you going to use with that? Okay. So if you say, they say, okay, I have this, I have Google's Workspace or whatever, because now AI can connect to a lot of different tools. You can also build like an MCP server for them that can connect to their existing tools. So as much as they can use their existing tools, the better. There will be one core AI intelligence tool that will have to power all of this. And as I was saying, for me, my best one that has worked is Claude. All the workflows I mentioned is in Claude. So then we say, okay, now if I install Claude on your desktop, these are your tools. What do you want to build? Let's put it out and let's see how do we do that step by step. You can use a word like an AI employee, which they seem to prefer over AI skill, because it's like, what is the skill? Right. So then, and once they give you their SOP, the most important thing is give you their SOP. But if you say SOP, then they're again confused. So you tell them, okay, hey, you know what? Tell me what you would do, how you would do it step by step. Tell me the process. Okay. If a human were to do it. Now, when they can lay that process out, because sometimes that's also very difficult for them to lay it out because it's all in their head, right? Then you say, okay, if you lay it out, then we can now take this information, these notes, give it to the tool and let it build. Okay. Now, another thing that I use for my clients is this is like an insider secret tip. I created an SOP creator skill, which you just fire, right? You just just say, okay, do the SOP creator, and then the tool guides you to giving it its SOP and then building out the skill and turning it into a skill, right? So they are not faced with anything technical. They are just explaining in simple words what they need to be done with which tools. And the tool then does the rest. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks. It does.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Polumi. Thank you once again to everyone, all our speakers, our distinguished speakers. Thank you for sharing your experience and your knowledge with us. Once again, thank you to House of Tech community for setting up this webinar, and as well our sponsor for tonight, Cyberport. Thank you once again. If you're joining us for the first time, if you're not already a member of the House of Tech community, please do well to join us. Join House of Tech. Lots of knowledge, resources, information is shared on our platform. I'm sure the link to the WhatsApp community was shared earlier. You can please check in the chat box, you'll find it. And for those who are already a member of the community, thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone. This is where we bring the conversation to a close, and we want to encourage you to watch out for our next programs, our next webinars. You can also follow our social media pages on Instagram as well as on X. You can join us, follow us, like our posts, like our our posts really. And thank you once again. Until we see you the next time, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye for now.